Welcome, welcome, welcome this evening. I am welcoming you to A&A Conversations, and I'm your host, Ty Newman. And today I have a very special guest with me. I have upcoming author Takeisha Allen-Fields with me this evening. How are you, Takeisha?
I'm doing well, Tatiana. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited about this conversation. I think that this is going to be one of the most awesomest conversations because we know that God is in the midst of this situation here, right?
Yes.
I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and who are you?
Well, first of all, I am a believer in our Father God and His Son, Jesus Christ. I'm so thankful for all that He has done in my life. Mm-hmm. I'm so grateful for the invitation that was extended to me from Him, just drawing me closer to Him. It was a long journey. I ran away from Him, but I'm so glad that He just had grace and just kept His hand extended to me. In regards to that, I am a wife, a mom of three. Professionally, I am in the HR field. I belong to an amazing church, a good church family. And yeah, I'm the middle child, 2 older siblings and 2 younger siblings. So, yeah.
And you forget the most important
thing. And what is that?
The upcoming author.
And an upcoming author.
So we are excited this evening just to talk about your testimony. You know, Revelations 12:11 said, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And I'm going to go back a few years just to paint the picture.
Okay.
I remember after a church service, you, me, and Christina were sitting in the car and we were just talking about married life and just... You know, you and Christina both were saying that you were going to get married and you were looking for what you were looking for in a spouse, and you just couldn't wait till that opportunity to come, right? But in the midst of that, the Lord was keeping you in your singleness. And I thought that this would be a really perfect opportunity because your book is going to entail this about, the Lord keeping you in celibacy during this time. And I really want to talk about it, dive into it, and get into it for other women that are out there that are waiting on their spouse and could be struggling in this area. And we need to get those 10 bits to them on how the Lord kept you so that they can be encouraged, according to Revelations 12:11.
Okay.
So let's get into it.
Okay.
All right. So let's start by first asking you, what was your decision to practice celibacy?
So, before I came to know the Lord, I was in sexual sin. And I always, I knew it was a sin. I knew it was wrong, but I was not in relationship with him, right? But I always had this guilt or whatever, when I was in Conviction, right. Thank you. But once I came to know the Lord and once I gave Him my life, that was one of the promises that I made to Him. And I just told Him that I want you to keep me. I was vowing to Him that I would not be with anyone or know anyone in that way, unless it was my husband.
Let's take it back to the biblical terms. Know anyone.
And that was literally the terms that I was using with him, right? And that was it. That was literally how it started. That was one of the first things that I did when I, gave my life over to Him. That was one of the first things. And I just wanted Him to know that I was serious about it. I wanted to be a wife. And I didn't think that I can be who He wanted me to be if I was involved in that type of activity, let's just say. Right. Yeah. So that's how it all started. Yeah. That was how it started. It started from the vow, the promise.
So was it a struggle though?
It was definitely a struggle. I would say in the beginning, how old was I? I was 28. And prior to that, I was in a really bad toxic relationship, right? So I knew I needed to be by myself anyway for some period, right? Because it was just, I had to get my head straight. I had to just kind of gain confidence and, who I was as a person, So in the beginning, it was okay because when I first, got saved, I was just focusing on trying to, clean myself up, so to speak, right? I was very active in the ministry. Then I had, small kids, and then also working full time. So I was just busy anyway. So I really that wasn't my focus at the time. So in the beginning, I would say like maybe the first 2-3 years, maybe, I would say, I don't want to say it was easy, but it wasn't a nag.
You were occupied.
I was occupied, right. But then as things started to settle, as the kids started to get older, and then I started to realize, like, wait a minute, your body kind of like, what's going on here, So I started to pray and ask God to, I was just conveying to him that I actually want to be married, right? Because before I never really spelled it out in that way. I never really truly said that I desired a mate or that I wanted to be married, right? It was just like internally. And it took a long time for me to actually come to that realization because I never really saw, I guess in my immediate family, like a good positive marriage per se. And some of the marriages from some of the friends that I had at that time, I was in my late 20s. It really was like, it wasn't a good representation, so to speak. So I really didn't even know that was what I wanted, right? But going back to that, I just said I have to be honest, right? And I just started praying about it. And I was just, telling God that I just really want that companionship. I want somebody who will have patience with me because of a lot of the childhood trauma that I've had. So I knew I was going to need somebody who would be patient, right? I needed somebody who would understand me, right? Who was willing to grow with me, who was a good role model for my children also, right? So I just started like presenting this list to God about it, right? And I left it alone after that. So as time went on, still occupied, I would see little things as far as I would see other couples and, just the hand holding and just the subtle things, the companionship in the grocery stores, husband and wife going grocery shopping together. I love going to the park, so I would always go to Belle Isle. And I would see, couples holding hands and just that subtleness of the husband or the significant other, kissing the woman on the cheek, and those are like secret desires that I've had, So as time went on, I was getting a little bit discouraged, right? Because it was approximately about 12 years,
12
right?
long years.
12 years. 12 long years, right? But, it was just... It was not an easy journey. It really wasn't. I mean, like I said, I had things that were keeping me occupied. But at the end of the day, at the end of the night, so to speak, that desire was there. And it wasn't necessarily because I wanted to be with someone in a sexual way. I just wanted someone to end my day with. And So I started getting a little bit more intentional and a little bit more specific with my prayer. And I started saying, okay, God, because like as time was passing, I would revisit it from time to time. It wasn't consuming my thoughts or anything like that, right? It wasn't like I was praying every year, every month or whatever, but I was praying when I would get the strong desires, and it just felt like I couldn't control those desires. So I just really wanted to submit those desires over to him. And then that's whenever I started having those stronger desires, that's when I would pray a little bit more, right? So, yeah.
So when you had those desires, it was like, Lord, put this love to sleep.
I was so glad you said that, because that brings something back. That was a part of when I first made the promise to him that I wasn't going to be with anyone unless it was my husband. That was one of the things that I said to him. I asked God, I said, Father, please put my flesh to sleep until my wedding night. That was one of the things that I asked him. I asked him to help me to operate in wisdom, where I would not put myself in situations where I would awaken my flesh. I'm so glad you said that.
You heard that
just triggered it.
Y'all heard that now. So we get into specifics.
Yeah, because that was a major thing, right? It's like, the flesh is so weak, right? So I did not want to place myself in situations. If you weak, I don't want to place myself in those situations. So it wasn't like, okay, if a guy came and stood next to me, I was just going to get weak in the knees. No, it wasn't anything like that, right? But you just really have to be careful with the environments that you are in, the music that you are listening to, the company that you are keeping, all of that all of those things, play a part in this. So yeah, that was one of the main things that I asked for him to do for me when I first made that vow to him, was to, put this flesh to sleep.
See, I wasn't about to be like Sheila in that sweatshop when Troy was leaning over her.
Exactly.
That ain't about to happen. Lord, keep me. What's that Ty tribute song? Lord, I need you to keep me. Ooh, this heart of mine said, I love the Lord, but this flesh trying to rise up, and I need you to keep me.
Yeah, it's real. The struggle is real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think that is just, for me, just hearing your story again, up close and personal, is so encouraging, because I know so many women that struggle with that.
Yeah.
And they're in church and they love the Lord.
Yeah.
But they lonely. They want the companionship. They want the husband.
Yeah.
And then some people try to, well, I ain't gonna say people, some women try to do God's job for themselves. Like, you taking too long, God, so I'm going to take care of this myself.
Yeah.
And then it opens up so many spiritual doors that they didn't realize that it will open up, because they're not being obedient to what it is that God called them to do.
Right. And that's the real thing, right? Because, again, it was pretty much 12 years. So it was times when I was like, okay, I'll just do this thing on my own. And I tried to, right? And one thing that I did, I always, I would pray to God over just about every encounter that I would have, right? I remember it was one time I was leaving work and I ran into the library really quick to check out a book or return a book or something. And on my way out, I was walking to the car, and this guy came running out the library, right? And he was just like, "Excuse me, ma'am." He was like hollering, right? And it was raining. So it was like, oh, that was like it would have been like a cute romantic type of situation, right? But he asked me for, he was like asking me for my number and stuff like that. And I didn't really feel the peace to give him my number. But I was thinking like, well, what harm, could it do? So I was about to do it. But I was like, okay, God, if this is not of you, just let something happen.
Let him trip over. Let him trip on the way over here.
But he just like went back in, and those were those were things that I would do. I wasn't trying to be so religious with it. Some situations I was real religious with it, but I wasn't trying to be so religious with it. But I was so afraid to, again, it wasn't that I was nervous to talk with a guy. I wasn't nervous to have a conversation with the guy. I wasn't nervous to be in the presence of a guy. I was nervous to make the wrong decision.
You didn't want to open up no doors.
I did not want to open up any doors because that's a big thing. And I did not want to, start building something with someone if this is not who God is calling for me to be with.
Yeah.
Who he has given me the approval, to be with. But there were times that when I was getting, weary, I was trying to do things on my own. I was, starting to talk to like some guys over the phone, like I'm gonna just do this myself, and because I was starting to run out of, I don't know,
patience.
Patience.
You was being impatient. Like, Lord, you taking too long, so I'm going to try to do this myself.
Because because it was so many years that was like going by. I remember questioning myself. I was wondering like, okay, well, what is it about me? Am I not attractive? Why aren't any, guys coming my way? There was a lot of things that I was going through mentally, and then, it's crazy because I just always wanted to be truthful. I just always wanted to be transparent. You should be able to be transparent with God, right? You should be able to do that with him. And sometimes, we get a little bit shy when it comes to talking with him over specific things, right? So even when it came to like sexual desires, I would talk to him about that. And I would just say, okay, Lord, I'm having certain desires, because after so long, your body will kind of feel certain things, right? And I would go to him in regards to that, like, I'm having certain desires. Please help me. What can I do? And I would just ask him for direction. I would ask him for help when it comes to that, right? And it's like, but you gotta be transparent. He already know what the struggle is, but you really have to be transparent.
He want to hear from you.
Yeah, you really have to be transparent about it.
It ain't no hiding place in God.
It's not.
He sees it. He sees all. He knows all.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's El Shaddai. I see you.
He sees it all.
Look, I see you.
And a lot of the times he's just waiting for you to come to him, just to have that conversation, and then he could talk back to you.
Give you that strength and that peace.
Absolutely. So he already know what it is that you need, but it's that relationship part, and a relationship is actually talking with him. The relationship is I'm being intimate with God because I'm sharing deep, dark things within me. That's intimacy right there. It's not just sexually. Intimacy is sharing, being vulnerable. That's a level of intimacy, right? And those are the things that he actually desire, and he can move in those things, right? So, yeah, it was a time, and I'm not going to say it was, it wasn't always, I'm not going to say the whole time it was a struggle. I'm not going to say the whole time finding a mate, getting married was on my mind, because I was trying to occupy myself with the things of the Lord, right? Committing myself to fast and committing myself to prayer, committing myself to getting in his word, reading the word, committing myself to certain things within the church, right? Marriage was not a consuming thought. It was a desire that I developed, but it wasn't a consuming thought. That wasn't something that I was just constantly thinking about or just occupying my mind, or if I went to the altar to pray with somebody, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't always at the forefront, like, this is it. It was I was working on other things, but the desire was there, right? And I was just one of those type of people that, I used to always hear people, and this was something I didn't understand. It was a lot of church people And they were, they were married, and they would say, I wasn't even thinking about marriage. And all of a sudden my husband showed up. Or, they would say all of this stuff, right?
That would be me.
I mean, it was just like, so it was a lot of things that I would hear, and I was at the point where I think I was just like, I don't want it to just, like I say, consume me. I don't want to, I want to do what it is that you're calling me to do, what it is that you're telling me to do. But, I was trying to work on myself, and just growing closer to God is what I was trying to do. Right. So, and I was just like, if it comes, it comes. That's a desire. But if it comes, it comes.
But I have to be honest with you. I was one of those people that I wasn't looking to be married at the time that I got pursued. I was in a backslidden state and breaking off a relationship from someone else. And then it's like my husband appeared. And it was like, oh, I have to tell the story because I just do, like I had this thing for Keith Sweat. We just going to keep it real, right?
Sweat.
And
they always call Sweat.
So when it came to me that my husband was interested in me, and I was like, oh, he's okay. Not he's a handsome man, but it was like we could just be friends. That was just my thought because I wasn't thinking about that. So when we got together, I was in the backsliding saying, be open and honest. Yes, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. But the Bible says that he's married to the backslider. Right. And during that time I had ended up leaving the church, and I was like, I'm going to figure this out on my own because some things I was disconnecting myself from someone else. And I was like, well, I'm not going to be bothered with this. So I met him during that season of my life. And when we met, it was just like, everything was different. It was like things that I fought for before. I didn't have to fight. It was so like easy going. Like he pursued me. I wasn't doing the pursuing. And then that goes back to the scripture. A husband that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor from the Lord. So he was looking for me. You know what I mean? And through that process, he used to always say, "You gonna be my wife?" And I said, "Am I?" Okay. And look at, behold, going to be celebrating 21 years of marriage. You know what I mean? So I just want to put that in. Like, girl, I was excited about, like, when I look at it and I think about it now, because I wasn't looking. But when I was looking, it was like, oh, my God, it's so hard. And then the people that were around me that were married, it was like I always felt like the third wheel. Yeah. And the thing was, I always got invited to stuff where everybody's coupled up and I'm the only person sitting in the room by myself. And it's like, what is this about? Yeah. And the thing was, during the time when I was sitting around those people, I didn't sit around them in envy or anything. I was just like, Lord, I like how their marriage is. You know, they have such a good friendship. When I meet my husband, I want that, Lord. I was just saying little things like that. And it was like, it was nothing. It was like nothing I was hovering on. But it was just like, Lord, wow. When that time comes, this is what I want. And I was like, just giving him my petitions, what I saw, things that I like, as you said. So, yeah. So I am a witness to that. So I want to talk about when I got the phone call that you was getting married. And I screamed at the top of my lungs because it was like, the Lord did what he said he was going to do. He did. And I remember that conversation that the three of us had in the car. And it was like we were touching and agreeing and didn't even realize that that was what we were doing. Right? And then to see it come to pass. Yeah. Oh, my God. I was so happy for you. Like, I mean, every time I talked about it, it was like, I was just smiling because I was so happy for you. It warmed my heart.
Can we go back for a moment before we get to that? Something else that came to my mind. I started hearing the question, like, why do you want to be married? And initially, as a single mom, I was thinking about having someone there for the kids. I wasn't looking for a father for them because they had a father, but I was looking for, ultimately, I knew that this person was going to have influence on them, right? If they were going to come into my home or whatever, come into our lives. And then also, I wasn't making that much money either. So I was thinking, as far as, our income can be broadened, because now we'll have two incomes, right?
Better than one.
So I was thinking about a multitude of things, but I was being challenged with some of the main things that I was focusing on as far as why I wanted to be married. So I was being challenged in that, and I had to really search for that and say, well, this is what I really, really want. Because it can't just be, okay, the same way we want God to send someone to us and we want them to be this fantastic man. Well, the man want a good wife too, right? So it can't just be, he doesn't just want to feel like, okay, I need to pay these bills. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what am I going to bring to him also, right? Do I want him for him, And I was being challenged with that also. And I started, asking God. I was like, Lord, just, search my heart, start challenging me, start helping me out. I was asking him to, to prepare me, what are some of the things from my last relationship that's in me that's going to maybe harm any future relationships, So at that time, I was really trying to be intentional with certain things as far as getting me ready, getting me prepared. That's something else that I was doing, right? I had started reading books. I was, looking into like little videos, just different things that I can find where I can, prepare myself. Right. It was, it was one of the older women at the church, one of the mothers, and my sister and I would go to her house and, just kind of hang out with her. She put us in mind of, like our grandmother. Right. And she was just like really loving in the word, tremendous woman of God, right? And I was cleaning up her apartment and took a break. And I was laying on her dining room floor. And one of my girlfriends called me, and I'm just on the phone with her yapping away, right? It got to the point I'm now laying down on her floor, and she had like computer paper, rings of paper, and I propped my head up like it was a pillow, and I'm just yapping away on the phone, hee hee ha ha, whatever. And she came around that corner and she said, "If that's not your husband, get off the phone." So I'm thinking to myself, like, lady, this ain't my husband because I'm not married, And so I'm like, okay, mama, and then I'm just steady talking on the phone. I'm steady yapping. I'm steady doing whatever. So probably about, 10, 15 minutes, maybe she comes back again. And she says, if that's not your husband, you need to get off the phone. So I'm like, at this point, I'm getting a little bit irritated. I'm like, why is she saying this to me? Because she know I'm not married. So why is she saying this? So I told my friend, I said, I'm like, girl, let me go ahead and get off this phone. So I get off the phone, and she was like, you can't. No, she was telling me, you have to be mindful of the things that you are doing. And I was like, but I was just talking on the phone. I didn't know at the time she was trying to train me for certain things. She was like, but what if your husband would have walked through the door? What would you have done? And I was like, I would have continued to keep talking on the phone. And so she was like, no, Puddin', you can't do that. And I said, well, is he going to get off the phone for me when I walked through the door? My mind was not there. I was not ready to receive it. And it was just like, during the time when I was asking God to, search my heart, what are some of the things that's going on within me? What are some of the things from my previous relationship that I could possibly be bringing into my future relationship, he was challenging me in multiple areas, right? He was using her a lot to do things with me. He was showing me that I didn't have any type of submissive mindset. B, I was just thinking about me. And I had an attitude behind certain things because, as you know, it is going to be certain things that your husband may ask you to do. And my attitude would have been a little bit coarse towards him, right? So he was just showing me certain things, certain behaviors, certain mindsets, certain habits that I've had that, it could be a little bit harmful in a relationship, right? So I just remember that time. I just wanted to go back a little bit because he was testing me in a lot of different areas, and he was using certain people to test me.
Mother was on time.
Yeah, she was on time.
She was coming from the book of Titus. Like, listen, because this is what the mother's supposed to do. They're supposed to train the younger women.
Absolutely.
So she was training you.
She was. But I didn't like it. I didn't understand it. I didn't know what she was doing. I was just like, I love her dearly.
She telling me to get off the phone.
What is she doing?
Get off the phone.
Yeah, or either, well, what you cooking? And I'm like, what is she talking about? And it was just like, I was not ready for it during that time. I just wasn't ready for it, but yeah, so that was like some of the moments that I went through. And I remember a period of just diving in deep into, like Ephesians. And it was a certain period where I was just like studying marriages. And
this book is going to be the bomb. That's all. I can't wait to read it. It's going to be the bomb.
Oh my gosh. amen. But it was a huge journey. It was a struggle in some cases. It was a good learning period.
Yeah.
It was, it just, sometimes it felt like a roller coaster, right? But it was so many things. And I think towards the end, I started developing that peace and that contentment. Not that I was about to get married, but I was coming to that peace and contentment like, well, God, if it's not for me, then I'm making peace with that. Like, if this is something that you're not going to do, or if it's not going to happen, then okay.
But if you really look at it, God was giving you the blueprint and you didn't even realize it.
I didn't realize it.
Because when God give us stuff, He give us a little bit. He don't be like, well, here, this is what's going to happen. And you read out everything and you say, well, I don't want this, take this out, take this out. He don't do it like that. It's like He give you a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
A little bit at a time. And then when you look back at it, it's like the whole blueprint. And that's something.
And that's a struggle for me because I like things up front. I like to know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and how it's going to happen.
But if He would have gave it to you like that, you would have rejected it.
Absolutely.
You would have rejected it. You'd be like, what? 12 years? I got to wait 12 years?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, no, I'm going to do this.
And I was heated about that. I was. It's like, I remember I know I'm kind of going ahead and we're going to have to go back. But I was very heated by that. Even like talking to my husband, I'm like, why did I have to wait 12 years? I don't get it. But I see it. I see why.
He was making something perfect for you.
Yeah.
And He was preparing your husband for you, the right one. And it's like, when you look at it, it's like, I was being a little impatient.
Yeah.
But God had to let patience have His perfect work for you, what you needed. Because if He would have gave you the husband at 29, it may not be what it is right now. You know what I mean? So He had to mature you in some areas and help you out in some areas before He presented your gift to you. Well, I ain't gonna say your gift, but presented your husband with his gift.
Yeah.
Because it says a husband that findeth a wife, findeth a good thing and obtain favor from the Lord. So you His favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a mindset to, it's a difference between wanting to be married and actually being a wife. So at first I wanted to be married, but I wasn't a wife. So it took time for me to develop the characteristics of actually being a wife. And if I could be honest, I can say that in the beginning, 28, 29 years old, when I started, when I just threw the prayer out there, I wanted to be married. But
you weren't ready.
I wasn't ready to be a wife.
Wow.
Just being honest.
Wow. But look at God. Yeah. He prepared you. He took you through that journey. Yeah. He took you through a teacher's journey to teach you some things before he gave you what it is that you prayed for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen.
Amen.
So I wanted to just talk about the phone call. That's my favorite part of the phone. I got the call. Tatiana, I am getting married. I like to scream my lungs out. I was so excited for you. It was just like, oh my God. And it was like, you know how you had that smile? Like, sometimes when you smile, your face cramping up. Every time, my face was so cramped because it was like
your jaws was hurting.
Because I was so happy. And it was just like, look at God.
Yeah.
When you see God do something for someone, especially someone that you love, oh my God, Lord, you doing it for my friend. And I love it for her. Like, I am so happy in this space and just going to the bridal shower and actually seeing you walk down the aisle. And it was like, the Lord put me there as a witness. I was a witness to what he has done. And it made me feel so honored to be a part of that journey.
Yeah. I mean, I literally felt it. I knew you were, I can feel it, people would say, oh, that's so good. I'm happy for you, so on and so forth. But I can actually feel the joy, that was literally coming from you. It was a heavy feeling that I literally felt it, so I'm very appreciative, for that. But it was just the way everything happened. Like, if I did not know that God was going to bring me somebody from my past, and that would be somebody that I would marry, right? And it's like, my husband and I, we never dated in the past. We met in like the 10th grade at high school.
Wow.
And we were really good friends. And we would talk on the phone a lot. So much. We would be, how I was with the landlines, right?
Girl.
We would be up all night on the phone, knowing that we had to get up in the morning to go to school, right? And he was really just someone that was safe for me. He knew a lot of the things that I had been through as a kid, and also just, struggling as a teenager, right? But he never judged me.
Wow.
And, he would share little things with me, and we were just literally a safe place for each other, right? And we were for, a couple of years or whatever. And, graduation, he went his way, I went mine. This is back in 98. So that was just the way things were. And, to fast forward, he had, found me on Facebook one day, and just friends, he just sent me a friend request. I accepted it. We did like little messaging, like, hey, how's it going? So on and so forth. That was it. And this was actually probably maybe 3-4 years before we even started dating. It was just, he had just found me on Facebook, but it wasn't, I didn't have any inkling like, oh, this is going to be my husband. I just felt like, oh, this is somebody who, I remember a really good friend from high school. That was literally what it was. And then some years had passed, and we were both supposed to attend our 20-year high school reunion. And I got occupied with something. He got occupied with something. And he reached out to me through like the inbox, and he was just like, hey, did you make it? And I was like, no, I didn't make it. And that was literally how it started.
Wow.
It was just like a friendship thing, just like trying to connect. And it's crazy because, well, I don't want to say it's crazy, but it just
blows your mind.
Yeah. That this is the person that God chose for me to be with. Because when I was praying and I was asking for someone who, would have patience with me, someone who could be a good role model for my kids, and someone who, can understand me. And it's like, he is that person because he saw me when I was going through my woes as a teenager, right? He knows a lot, right? And it's like, he's very understanding. He's very patient. And it actually does happen in God's timing, because I remember he told me that once we had got married and everything, he told me that if we would have gotten together 3 years or so prior, it wouldn't have been good.
Wow.
Because he said that God was really working on him in the area of patience.
Wow.
So it's just the level of patience that he has had with me, because I was a hot mess when we got married. God was, he's so loving. He's so thoughtful. He's so gentle. He knows exactly what he is doing. And was I completely ready to be married? No one is never completely ready to be married, meaning that they have it all right, meaning that, they're going to approach things the right way all the time, meaning that their attitude is just perfect and they're going to be super submissive. And, no one is never fully ready, because you're going to make mistakes. No one is perfect before they get married, right? But he worked on so much that was within me, but he's allowing my spouse to help me to work on those other things. He's allowing my spouse to show me his love and his kindness, and that's helping to perfect me, so to speak, so I'm just really appreciative to that and the way it has happened. But yeah, I never would have thought this is what he was doing. This is what he was working on.
Wow.
And this is the guy who he was bringing to me, someone who knew me at my core. You know what I mean? So it was just like, wow.
That's a blessing.
Right. Yeah.
That's a blessing and a testimony worth giving.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes I think women, they have a type.
Yeah.
And they think this is what it's supposed to look like. He's supposed to be tall.
Yeah.
They build a man.
Yeah.
Tall, dark, and handsome, or whatever. Tall, light, and handsome, whatever.
Yeah.
That may be for whomever, but it's like, that's not what God have for you. And then it's like what you least expect.
Yeah. You just have to be open. You don't know we don't know what God is doing when he's doing it, right? You just have to trust the process, and it's not like, I was like, God, that's him? Oh, you got to show me what it wasn't like one of those things. I was just shocked. Like, wow, who would have thought? Wow. Like, who would have thought? Like, this is him. But I was happy that it was him. It was like one of those little feelings, like,
that confirmation, that calm.
Yeah.
This is the Lord.
Yeah.
It ain't, I'm feeling nervous. Oh, is this it?
Yeah.
Is it, that little bubble you get in your stomach.
I literally felt like, remember what was that story that you always used to talk about? Was it One Night with the King? Was that with Esther and how she was getting prepared?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So me and we wasn't even dating, right? But when we both had missed the reunion, we had said, like, hey, let's just meet up just to catch up. Because he and I had been looking forward to going to the reunion just so we could catch up. Because again, like I said, we was like really good friends in high school. So we were just looking forward to just catching up and just, talking and hanging out. And so we had decided, he was like, well, what about we go to the place where they had the reunion at? Because it was like Sinbad's or whatever. So I was like, yeah, that'd be cute. So we were just like, yeah, we're just going to go and, hang out or whatever. And I remember I was telling one of my coworkers, I said, it's like all of a sudden I started getting like this nervous feeling. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to go and meet up with him. And she was like, you going on a date? I was like, girl, no, it's not a date. Because, I started getting scared when she said it was a date. So I was like, girl, no, this is not a date, But I was having butterflies in my stomach just to go and meet up with him. Just so we could catch up. I started getting butterflies. And I started feeling like it's like I can't really put my finger on it. It's like I knew it was something, but I didn't know. It's like I didn't have the feeling like, okay, yeah, I'm going to meet my husband. It wasn't nothing like that, but I didn't understand why.
A safe nervousness.
I was having these butterflies, and I started having like little flutters, and I'm like, I'm just going to meet my friend. You know, I'm just going to meet my friend. So then we started figuring out. I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to wear? And trying to figure out what I was going to wear, right? And I'm like, well, why am I thinking so far into it? I'm like, I'm just going to meet my friend. It doesn't matter what I'm wearing. I can just put on some jeans and a shirt. But I was like literally putting thought into everything that I was doing as if I was going to present myself to somebody, you know? And it just always put me in mind of how you always spoke about the one night with the king, Keisha, the one night with the king. And I just felt like I was literally getting dressed to go and meet my king, so to speak.
Wow.
You know, I felt like I was getting dressed to go and meet. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it was feeling.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Well, girl, I can't wait for this book to come out. I know it's so many nuggets and tidbits and just so many great things. But one of the things that I want you to do is I want you to give some words of encouragement to women that are waiting on their husband and women that are struggling in that area. Just give some words of encouragement to them, so that, you know, they know that the Lord is in this, and you just gotta, you gotta wait on him. You gotta trust him. You gotta come to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that God is there for you. He wants you to come to him. Just be open, just be honest with him, build that relationship with him. The same way that you would confide in, you know, one of your girlfriends, the same way you would confide in, you know, your best cousin or whomever, confide in him in that same way. Just go to him, give him the desires of your heart. Truly give him the desires of your heart. Let him know what you're feeling like, what you're dealing with, even though he already knows. It's that intimacy that you are building with him. Just be completely vulnerable with him and know that he hears you, right? And if you are truly desiring that mate, be honest about it. Let him know, like, Lord, these are the desires. Let him know some of the things that you desire to have within that mate, right? And just trust and believe that he is going to do it. You know, don't put yourself in situations where they would become tempting situations. You know, you have to work on just keeping your mind, ask him for wisdom, ask him for what to do, what not to do, where to go, where not to go.
Yes.
And keep in mind that the man has to find you. So you have to be somewhere for him to find you. So it's not this mysterious, this mystical thing where you just pop up out of a jack in the box in front of him. It's like you have to be somewhere for him to see you, for him to find you. So I would just say be mindful of that. Just know that God hears you. Just know that He places the desires in your heart to begin with if you desire to be married. So just know that he is there. He is going to come through. He is going to come through in his timing and not yours. And I would just say practice that, you know, just being patient.
Amen.
Practice, just give it to him. You know, just be sincerely honest and use that time to develop your relationship further in God. Use that time and allow him to mold you. Ask him to prepare you. Ask him to get your mindset together. Ask him to release and to deliver you from previous relationships, because that's not fair either to bring into your marriage. So it's some inner soul searching that needs to be done. And he'll do it.
Amen.
He'll do it.
Amen. So you heard it here first. Our upcoming author, Takeisha Allen-Fields, is giving you some tidbits on waiting on the Lord and being allowed to be kept in your singleness. And I want you all to be encouraged and know they that wait upon the Lord shall be renewed in their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. I say, wait on the Lord. All right.
Amen.
I just want to take this opportunity again to say thank you to Keisha for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for being a part of A&A Conversations. I am your host, Ty Newman. And until next time, I say wait on the Lord. Be blessed.